Security, according to Oluwole Uzzi, is central to fairness and credibility of all elections. Knowing that Nigeria today is facing a myriad of security challenges calls for concern as insecurity poses a threat to the 2023 general elections. Hence, the topic, security and election, implications for 2023 general elections. Hello and welcome. I am Olujoke Musakon. Let's talk. My guest is the General Manager of Sweet FM, Ogun State, Nigeria, Mr. Eddy Aina. Stay with us. Thank you, sir, for coming on the show. It's nice having you here.
Thanks for having me, Joke.
Okay, some individuals and groups are expressing fears about the fate of the 2023 general election. Do you also, by any chance, share in this fear, and why?
If anybody is a participant in Nigeria at the moment, whichever way you want to look at it, I share the views of so many people, so many academics, so many politicians, people who are expressing the opinion that given the state of insecurity in the country, because if you take a record, a survey of it, you realize the fact that almost every day, there's insecurity, facing us right away. For instance, about 51 people were killed, in Samfara and Kaduna State. Then 9 were killed in Sango, Qatar. Not to talk of other areas like Edo, Sokoto, Kebbi, and Niger in particular. In fact, at the moment in Kaduna State, the bandits were insisting that the parents of people that have been adopted must provide food, else they will starve them to death. And you can imagine. So if you look at it critically, Nigeria is almost inching to a failed state. And what are the qualities of a failed state? When you have non-state actors who are holding sway, who are even fighting, who have more equipment, who are taking government to ransom and taking people to ransom. Nobody is safe in the country. You can't even travel out of your place. For instance, so many people find it difficult to travel between Lagos and Ibadan, or to talk of Abeokuta and Ibadan, because you have headers who can hit you on the road, you have people who will kidnap you for ransom, and it's there all over. So Nigeria is inching towards a failed state because of insecurity, and that's the reason why people are afraid. Everybody is afraid because there is a nexus between poverty and insecurity. When people don't have jobs to do, when people are poor, what do you have? They look out for anything to eke out a living. And that's the reason why people are afraid that given the political configuration in the country, given the economic situation in the country, given the plight of the common man in Nigeria, then you can't be talking of elections except the politicians.
Okay, one of the comments read is that of Dr. Doyin Okukwe. He described it as a grand political illusion, while someone else categorically states that Nigeria is sitting on a keg of gunpowder. How feasible is 2023 general elections?
Well, Doyin Okukwe is a politician, so he can look at it as a political whatever. But the reality on the ground, is that we are sitting on a keg of gunpowder. Because what am I saying? Look at agitations here and there. This is the first time we'll be having this kind of the state of agitation we have in the country for secession. You have the IPOP group, you have the DUA group, and you have even the Middle Belt, and you have the Avengers, in Niger Delta, who are saying unless you restructure this country, and they have the weapon to use. All they need to do is, keep bombing the pipes and what have you, and prevent. In fact, Chief Edwin Clark said that much some 6 days ago, that if you insist on the 3% you are giving them in the PIB is petroleum industry bill. If you give us the host communities, if you insist on 3%, well, we know what to do. We'll make it impossible for you, to generate oil from our end. And Nigeria is a mono economy. I mean, what are we? You don't have the industries to bring in money, and Jakarta is virtually down. So for me, and for right-thinking people in the country, Nigeria is sitting on a keg of gunpowder, because just, if there is no way to pull us back from the precipice, and how can the government pull us back? By doing what people, the demand of the moment is restructuring. The demand of the moment is to ensure that this state of insecurity is curtailed. Nobody will be talking of their political illusion at this moment in Nigeria. Yes, it could be illusory, to politicians, but to people who are on the ground, who are feeling the pinch, they know that Nigeria is on the keg of gun, but we are sitting on the precipice. It only needs detonation. But I just pray that it's not allowed, that government does something very fast. And what can government do to stop this insecurity? For instance, Sheikh Gumi had told the whole world that they know where these bandits stay, in the forest. In fact, he said on many occasions that he had gone to dialogue with the bandits. There were security agencies, alongside him, but bargaining with the bandits. So if you know where they're staying, for instance, we know of Sambisa Forest, we know of Fagore Forest. There is a Mauyu, in Benue State. In Kano, there are forests. Even in Southwest, there are forests. That is where these bandits are staying. Why don't you either use the force that has been used to fight, to bring in Kano, or the force that have been used on Sunday Igboho to go and tackle this insecurity? Then no, because no election can take place under this atmosphere that we are in at the moment. But some people again have argued that all these things that are happening may be the handiwork of some politicians, because there is an argument, it may be, it may not be, that when there is a problem towards the election time, that when there is a conflict of unimaginable proportion, then the president can declare a state of emergency, and which means he stays put. If there is no election, the government stays put. Another angle to it is that some people are arguing is the fact that if this situation persists, then it's possible that the government will be in a position to conduct an election under an atmosphere that is not okay. Because if the atmosphere is not conducive for any election, then you just install your puppets. That's another angle to it. Another angle is it's possible for politicians towards the tail end to come together as a group, because you have the political elite, you have the economic elite. It's possible for them to come together as a group, ensure that they put their differences aside, ensure that elections are held, and we are back to square one. So there are so many possibilities towards this election that we're talking about. But, well, whichever way we look at it, let's just hope things will be put right.
Okay, INEC said they will be adopting the use of electronic voting for 2023. This, for some First World War, might not be a problem, but for Nigeria, there are factors that could hinder it. And the Anambra State gubernatorial election that will be coming up on November 6, 2021 is the pilot test. What are the factors here?
There is an argument already at the National Assembly. We are having the fifth alteration of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And somebody has raised the alarm that the electronic voting, election transmission equipment, the part of that law has been removed, from the Constitution. Although the Speaker had come out to say no, it has not been removed. That's one side of it. But there are factors, like you rightly said, electricity, for instance, may not even allow it to work. But again, what will be the best thing for this country is for this electronic transmission of results. I support it. It's going to be tried at the Anambra election coming up in November. Let's give it a shot, because that shows we are going to have a perfect election. Once elections are properly recorded and transmitted and counted, you have credible election. Because all over the world, like you rightly said, that's the practice. Although we have challenges in Nigeria, you have challenge of illiteracy, you have challenge of power, because in so many states, there is no power. But I would think that even in the US, that people copy, you still have the electronic voting and you still have manual voting. So let them look at areas where you don't have electricity and there are constraints and they can use manual voting, alongside electronic voting, where, especially urban areas, where they have electricity. But to jettison it outright means that there is an agenda somewhere. And I hope it's not going to work out.
So we should actually look forward to how they are going to include the people from the rural areas, the women, the market women, the pepper seller, the grandmothers that do not know how to use these things. If we are avoiding people coming to queue.
Yes, incidentally, Nigeria is 75% rural, so we expect more votes to come from that area. If you look at our voting pattern, in fact, the last two electoral cycles, what do you have? You have apathy, especially in urban centers. In the last election, you have only 8.3% of the urbanites voting, whereas in other areas, you had 65 to 70% of rural people voting. So we are expecting that they are going to devise so many means that can allow them to use it. But again, illiteracy may prevent some people, from voting, which means politicians will have a way to manipulate it again. But if we have the political will, especially the politicians, if they have the political will, especially Aina, I know they have means of doing it. All you need to do is to educate the people, to enlighten the people on how to vote, and ensure that where they cannot vote, they can vote manually if they cannot use the electronic medium. But fortunately, so many Nigerians now, especially people in the rural areas, the market women you talk about, they hold Android phones. They phone and they do some things with it. Unknown to some of us, they are educated enough to operate this equipment. So I'm not sure it's going to cause more problems. If it's going to cause problems, it's going to be in certain areas. And I think INEC can dance around it. After all, even if there is no electricity, you can use generating sets, because I know in some areas, during 2019 election, some people supplied their gen sets to ensure that elections took place. And I think if we have the political will and you mobilize the people, you convince the people, because that is very important, especially the urban centers. So many educated people they don't count elections important. Why? Because some of them feel there's going to be violence. Some people feel even if the vote is not going to count. Some people mistrust the institutions of government. And if you look at the totality of this, apathy comes in. But we have to ensure that we enlighten people. In fact, we need this more than ever before in Nigeria, because if the youths and the women don't come out to vote, then you won't be able to elect the people you actually want.
Let's quickly go on this break, and when we come back, we continue from where we stopped. Stay with us.
Hi everyone, my name is Essay, and I'm here to talk to you about Let's Talk. It's a show on DNT Walk, which is DNTWOK. It's a very inspiring show, very informative. You will learn a lot on this show. So I invite you to please join DNT Walk, like, subscribe, and share with everyone you know.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, the program is Let's Talk on DNT Work, and I have been speaking with the General Manager of Sweet FM, Ogun State, Nigeria, Mr. Eddy Aina. So if you're just joining us, you can continue with us as we go on this ride. Thank you once again for coming on the show, sir. It's been wonderful having you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, moving on to the next question. The electoral reforms also interfaced with all relevant stakeholders like the National Assembly, political parties, and all due to insecurity, coupled with the fact that the legislature are yet to pass the amendment bill for the current electoral laws as promised. What would you advise?
Well, the legislature, for now, is doing the right thing. let's just take it like that, because the filtration of the constitution is going on, and there are so many aspects of it they have taken. I was surprised yesterday, to find out that, in fact, the removal of clause 308, regarding immunity, for the president, the vice president, the governor, and the deputy governor, is about to be removed. And I think that's the right direction. That's the right step in the right direction, because under the guise of immunity, so many things happen. And when you say governors, should state, or president should state after leaving office, before you prosecute them, if they have any infraction, then more of the exhibits that can be used against them will have been removed. That's one aspect of it. Now, already so many aspects of the constitution is being, retuned, being rejigged, and we are thinking that yes, if the president signs them, like the PIB is part of it, because if there's problem in the Niger Delta, it's a problem. Another aspect of it is even the amount of money that an individual can spend for election. You know that monetization of the election has been the bane of election in Nigeria, because it means only the people who have the money, especially the politicians, the warlords, the big wigs, can take part in election, can sponsor people, and can control the electoral space. But now they are saying, yes, let's move the money off. Although some people feel that the amount of money being recommended, like for instance, they are thinking that instead of 200 million naira, that the governor can spend as much as 5 billion to conduct election. That again is not the right step in the right direction. Because what we are saying is, if you put too much money in elections, when people get there, the first thing they do is to recoup their money. We should make elections so simple and so seamless in terms of money that the people who do not have money, but they have character, they have good antecedents, people can attest to their character, could easily come in. But what they are doing in the National Assembly is pushing that the president, to give him about 15 billion naira, to contest election. I don't know why the National Assembly is going through that route. But there are some other things they are doing that we feel can help this country, like state policing, because that has been the major problem, and the devolution of powers, to the state from the executive, legislative list, to the concurrent list. Because the problem you have in the country at the moment is this restructuring. I mean, if you have states who have to go to the federal, to beg for money on a monthly basis, it doesn't make any sense. And that's the reason why they're saying allow the states to have some power, allow state police, allow autonomy for local government, because the local governments in Nigeria are not working again. Go to any local government in Nigeria, because they don't have the money. The state, because they have these joint accounts, the states deprive them of their money. And who suffers? The people in the grassroots. I mean, the environment is not taken care of again. Street lights, just mention it. Markets, all these things are not within the availability of the people. So if they are going that way, I think it's good. Let the local governments be autonomous. Let the judiciary, and the houses of assembly, let them be autonomous, so that the government, especially the governor in particular, and the federal government will not have any power over them, and they can deliver justice, in the proper way. I mean, apart from Lagos, Delta, Rivers, and Ogun, that can really, really stay on their own. Most of the states in the country cannot run their government. Why? Because they are not allowed to tap the mineral resources in their care, under their care. Whereas if you allow this autonomy, if you devolve power, let the states make their money, just like we had in 1963 when the regions used to make their money and gave, at that point in time, gave 50% to the federal government. They had their own constitution, and there's a federal constitution. And that is what operates elsewhere, even in India. So I don't know why we still stick to this constitution we are sticking to. But if this constitution is retooled and rejigged to allow some measure of openness, to allow some measure of autonomy for the states, I think all this agitation will fizzle out.
Thank you so much for that. Although preparation for the general elections is in top gear, how best can INEC work with the security agencies to deliver free, fair, and safe election?
For now, that's a tall order because INEC itself is worried. Don't forget that in the last couple of months, INEC's property, INEC's buildings have been touched, have been burnt down. I recall Idimi in Akwa Ibom State, even in Imo, in Anambra, INEC property had been touched. Most of their polling booths, have been about 456, have been touched, And if you talk of how can the security agencies work with INEC, it's a tall order for now if there is insecurity, because even the security men you are talking about are the targets of attack. Because if they still remain the target of attack, then it means they won't want to come out. If they come out, it means their lives are at stake. So unless this insecurity is tackled, but I'm happy it's going down in the eastern part of the country now, because hitherto it used to be an everyday affair. It's either the police station is attacked, or INEC office, or a policeman, is attacked or whatever. But now I think it's going down. We've not had it now that the federal government and the security agencies have moved into Imo State in particular, to stop that. But I hope it will be completely stopped so that INEC can do its work. Ordinarily, INEC can work with security agencies. They work with them in the past, but it's what we have at the moment, the rave of the moment, which is insecurity everywhere. Headers, farmers, clashes, kidnapping, banditry, and what have the killings all over the place. That's what may make INEC, be unable to work with security agencies. Because if the security agencies are even afraid on their own, then how can we be talking of election? Because he won't bring security agencies from any other part of the world, to come and secure a vote for us. But I hope that's the reason why we are insisting that the federal government should appeal to any international organizations or countries to come to our aid. If they need help, why not? They can get it. So I think they can come together, to say, yes, enough is enough, so that INEC can work with security agencies, INEC can work with all other organs, NGOs, but the media, the market women, and everybody, to ensure that we have an election that is worth it. But first and foremost, let's do some rejigging to the constitution to allow states have the leeway, to maneuver.
All right, thank you so much for that. As we round up, we know that generally, whether we like it or not, there's going to be a transition, and there won't be a transition without an election, except the present government would remain in power until the atmosphere is clear, of which many people wouldn't want that. Now, what is the way forward?
Well, the way forward is simple. And I just hope the president, will take this advice. Just like some people feel, and I feel strongly about it too, that the issue is it's neither Kanu nor Boho nor any other person. I think the issue is not even reform in the military or reform in the police system. The issue is ability to manage the country's diversity. And I think that's the bone of contention. Where you have injustice and impunity, where you have proliferation of equipment, guns, weapons, and all whatnot in the country, and where you don't have employment opportunities for people, especially the youths. These are the drivers of conflict. These are the drivers of agitation. Once the government is able to, you can't use force all the time. No. So if the government, the way out that you rightly asked, let's use more force. Let's use more carrot and stick. Let there be discourse. Let there be discussion. Let's talk. Let there be conversation. Let there be an agreement. What do you want? What can save this country? Not what can help my tribe. Not what can help my people, my group. No. The government should have political will to be patriotic. If we eschew violence, if you want violence to be eschewed, you don't want agitation, all the demands of the people, at least let's meet it halfway. then this agitation will go down, we'll have an election. It's still not, it's not late. We are talking of 2023. We are still not even in 2022. But it depends on the government. What will help us have election in 2023 is to do even partial restructuring, devolution of powers, state policing system, autonomy for local governments, autonomy for the judiciary, autonomy for the houses of assembly, I'm sure, and provide jobs for the people. Once there is peace in the nation, there will be foreign direct investment. Our own foreign direct investment has attenuated considerably, has gone down considerably. In fact, out of, if you look at between 2015 and 2019, what should come to Nigeria within the context of Africa is $74 billion. Nigeria only made $3 billion out of it, which is just only 4%. So, because nobody wants to come to invest in Nigeria, where do you have insecurity, where you have agitation here and there, where you have banditry here and there, you have kidnapping for ransom here and there. So, the way out is that is on the government side. I'm sure if the government takes the first step, people will support traditional rulers, religious leaders, agencies, and all these they are very, very good. Your hand is social cultural organizations will calm down. But force is simply not it.
Thank you so much once again for coming on the show. It's been wonderful having you, and I've really, really learned a lot from you. Thank you once again.
Thanks for having me.
And to you out there, I'm just going to leave you with, to paraphrase what he has said, the way forward for Nigeria is that the Nigerian government should devise a means to manage the country's diversity and also manage, look for how to manage people's agitations. If this is done, then there is a way to go. Until next time, when I come your way again with another exciting edition of Let's Talk, I remain Olujoke Mosaku. Bye for now.